Talking about War and Peace. Were you a volunteer or were you drafted at all?
I was drafted, and that helped make a decision. We got married, and I worked the machine, and mother worked at Alice Chalmers, and we was all happy going along that way. We were trying to save money to go back to school at Wisconsin. Well, I got drafted, and Uncle Sam uh, gave me a bus ride up to Milwaukee, and I passed the physical. So that meant only one thing. And at that time, they had what they call an S2 deferment when you were going to school. Well, Wisconsin was on the semester system. Their semester is started already. So I couldn't go back to school in Wisconsin. But Marquette was on the quarter system, and they had begun their last quarter of the year. So that's how I went to Marquette, which was a good move in the long run.
A
So
lot of phone calls went to Marquette. I knew before he did that he was accepted.
Okay.
And there was no way I could call him, tell him until he got home.
but that was, something that you considered to be disruptive in your life. Sometimes are magic things that happen in your life.
Yeah.
So that was a good change.
So if you didn't serve, what do you recall about being on the home front during the war?
The big war was Second World War, and we were children then. Now, I was 7, 8, 9 years old when the time the war was. And I remember standing in line at the meat market or wherever we would go for our ration allotment of meat or whatever. So I remember that. I remember there was a prison camp in Sullivan, and a lot of German prisoners were out there. And they talked to the Americans just like they were friends of ours and so on. So it was quite different. So
And then you had coupon books. Every child and woman had, and men for the family had books.
and that included shoes, and shoes were a big issue at that time. So I remember one time my sole on the shoe came loose, and so it flopped, and I cut it off. Well, I got the falling out of you never saw because when you take a shoe to the shoe shop, when you cut the sole off, it makes it very difficult to put a replacement on. So that was quite an issue. But
And-
it was really an issue if you got your feet wet because of your bottom of the shoes.
And that was one thing that was in that ration book. You had for shoes and for sugar, butter. It was different things that was ration. And the same thing with gas. You had tokens for gas.
But you had to
And that-
realize that the war was just after the Depression. So the hardship you think it might be because things were rationed really wasn't, because things were rationed because of the necessity during the Depression anyway. So people accommodated it a lot better than you might think.
They said they wanted the people to feel the pressure of the war instead of.
And how often did you get the coupon books?
Once a year.
Once a
Yeah.
year, okay.
They were little. They give you a tore-out piece, and then to get back, you would get little round tokens if you didn't spend the amount that you were supposed to.
And
I
there-
still have mine.
And there was some savings bonds. Kids all saved war bonds. And you got $18, you bought a $25 war bond. And that 7 or 10 years
Yeah.
matured. In fact, one of those bonds was we had traded in when we traded in for the house when we bought it. So we had retained that for a long time.
Well, Melissa used to get a dime. You could go down to the post office and get the little stickers, and you'd come home and put it in your book. You still have that book, I think.
Probably.
I give it to
Yeah.
you, I know
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
So you know what the savings bonds were.
Oh.
I don't know how much that they'd be worth if you cashed it in. You didn't have a full book.
Okay. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of grocery stores gave stamps, green stamps or yellow stamps, Clark Gas gave the stamps. Every time you went to a show at that time, you get a dish. So you got a plate or you got a spoon or something like that. They gave those out as gifts for people that went to the show every week.
There you go.
Yeah.
Interesting.